Hello, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing a family game night video, and this particular one is called Starting Game Masters. And uh, I try to get people into tabletop role-playing games, and for those of you who aren't aware, I've been doing this a lot. Go back and check out some of my other videos, you'll see what I mean. These games that I talk about are tabletop role-playing games. This is what we used to do before we had video games. And you're multiple players, you can have 6, 8, 10, 12 people. I've seen 15 people in one game. That gets a little raucous, but usually 3 to 6 is good. More than that can be a little much. 15 was a little much. But you can get everybody around a table, you consume munchies, you have fun with your friends. You're actually interacting with people. It's not a video game or a device or whatever. And I highly recommend these tabletop role-playing games for everyone. Now, here's the work aspect of it. One person has to be the game master. In Dungeons and Dragons, it's called a dungeon master. In Vampire, it's called a storyteller. And most other game master is a general kind of a generic term. Game master applies for just about any game. I have been a dungeon master since 1979. I have been playing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons since the 70s. I have played other games since then. Vampire Outlaw Trails, I developed that one because we couldn't get a hold of Boot Hill. So my point is, there's a variety of different games. Whatever you enjoy playing is fine. Now, if you plan to start running tabletop role-playing games, yay, good on you. But rest assured that you are not being thrown to the wolves. This is not one of those things where we say, here's the books, read up and go for it. No. You've got lots of support. Don't worry about that. Most role-playing games start out with introductory adventures to help you get started. So it's an adventure that's all set up. It's in the books usually. Not all games do, but usually. And you can have X amount of players of X level, whatever level they are, usually first levels or whatever. And the idea being, this adventure teaches the players how to play and teaches you how to be a dungeon master or a game master. Okay, and they're very user friendly in that respect. But you want to read through the rules first before you try to run a game. Make sure you're familiar with them, because each game has different rules on how to roll dice and what dice to roll and this and that. Dungeons and Dragons is pretty simple because making the characters fairly straightforward, and the dice are pretty straightforward. And I did a video on dice. Check those out. You roll the d20 to hit, and for savings throws, and for ability checks like strength, intelligence, wisdom. Usually, the characters generally roll for those: strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma, and comeliness. And each ability defines a different aspect of the character, and you never want to. I had a player one time who came up and said, "I want to run this character in your game," and I took one look at it and had 18s, which is the best you can roll. 18, 18, 18, 18, all the way down. And I said, "So you rolled 18s on every stat?" "Yeah, I did. I had it witnessed." "By who?" "My friend." "Well, bring him over. I want to see it." "Well, you don't trust me?" "No." Sorry. Rolling 18s on 6 or 7 stats. I forget if we were using comeliness at the time or not, because it came later in a different book. But rolling 6 18s in a row on 3 6-sided dice is ludicrously stupid. It's a statistical impossibility. However, I allowed him to make up his own character for the game, because I wanted him to play. He's not a bad guy. But he rolled surprisingly well. He had, like, I think 4 of his stats were 18s, but they weren't in a row, and, My point being, you got to watch out for stuff like that. It's better to have the dungeon master there when the guy makes up his character, because that way the dungeon master can take note of the character and find out what's going to work in the game. Not every adventure is suited for every character. One of the other things you want to watch out for in this, there are tons of groups that, if you're going to play in their game, they have what are called house rules that aren't in the books. So you have to watch out for that as well. Just as long as the rules are being consistently applied and they apply equally to everybody, whatever the house rules are, it's fine. But if they make a house rule that applies to this character and not that one, then you got to watch out. I've been in games like that, and some of the house rules, I don't like to tell people how to run their game, but there are some game masters that I won't play in their game, because I think I did a video on this where the guy, I ended up paying 150,000 gold for a 250 gold piece horse. Yeah, normally in the books they're like 250 gold. I paid 150,000 for this horse that was too stupid to eat grass by the side of the road and drink water from the river. It ended up dying on me because I never said I fed it on a well-traveled, grass-covered plain with a river. We were traveling along the river, you know, and this horse was too stupid to eat grass or drink water. So, yeah, at some point you turn Mother's picture to the wall and get on out, because that's not worth playing it. And you have game masters that are like that. Another thing you want to understand is online there are tons of groups on Facebook and on other websites that are just full of people that want to help you. If you're learning to be a dungeon master, and you can go on and ask questions, and they're glad to help you, because there's people online who have been gaming as long as me or longer, and they're glad to help, because the more players you have in a game, the more of a player base you have, and it's better for the game. Okay? Now, the main thing I'm getting at is, when you start running games like this, you are not alone. Okay? You have help. All you got to do is ask. There are tons of pre-made adventures that you can purchase, which are self-contained and have everything you need to run an adventure in whatever game you and your group want to play. And these are called modules. They come in stores. They're usually wrapped in plastic, and you can read the back and find out what it's about. A short synopsis, a little description there. You read it, and it sounds like it might fit my campaign. So then you buy it, and you take it home, open it up, and yeah, I can work in this way, maybe change a little bit here. But the modules are great because they're self-contained adventures. It's all there. You don't have to change anything, and it's a lot less work than working up an adventure on your own. Once you get the hang of running a game, any adventure, I highly recommend that you design your own adventures. There's a reason for that. I'm going to do a whole video about that. I'm going to do a video titled Modules, which will explain that. Now, remember, the other part of this is, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. Whatever rule you decide to use, you use that rule consistently. And if you're going to change it, let everybody know ahead of time. Okay? And the main number one rule in these games, have fun. Okay? Have fun. You folks have a good day. God bless one and all.